Morning, welcome to Walking the Weird. Today I'm in the New Forest, just on the edge of the New Forest, and I've come to a place called Keyhaven. And I've come here because I'm going to check out one of King Henry VIII's coastal forts. Look at this, isn't this beautiful? So I've parked my car just in the car park just down here where all these boats' masts are. There's a public car park there, paid one. And then there's the ferry here, which I'm going to go on later, hopefully. And I'm going to walk along the spit. It's a shingle spit, and it's about just under 2 miles, I think, to get to the castle, which is just on the top of the horizon there. So let's get going. This is not the most accessible of walks. It's flat, which is great, but the whole spit is shingled, so it's really difficult for pushchairs and wheelchairs. But you can get the ferry, which is just behind me. You can get onto that, and that takes you directly to the castle and back again to Keyhaven. Saturday morning, quite early today. I managed to get up and get cracking. It's worth it, really worth it. Wow. This is the south coast of England. Look at it. You could be on holiday right now. So just ahead there, I'm not sure if the camera's going to do it justice to the naked eye, but is the Needles just next to the Isle of Wight. Absolutely beautiful. It's so clear today. So let's talk a bit about why Henry even built Hurst Castle. So King Henry VIII, if you don't know much about English history, was the ruler of England from 1509 to 1547. And he's infamous, of course, for having 6 wives. Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived is how we were taught it at school, to remember the fate of each wife. Henry was married to his first wife, Catherine of Aragon, and unfortunately she was unable to provide him with the son and heir that he so desired. Henry's eye had already wandered to Anne Boleyn, who was to become his second queen. So Henry sought permission from the Pope and the Holy Roman Empire to be granted permission by them to divorce Catherine of Aragon so that he could remarry Anne Boleyn. Much to Henry's annoyance, the Pope refused to annul his marriage to Catherine. Henry was very displeased, as you can imagine. I don't think he was the kind of king who would take no for an answer. So enraged as he was, Henry decided to split all ties with the Catholic Church and the Pope over in Rome. So he then set about the dissolution of the monasteries, which is quite an important part of English history. Essentially, King Henry VIII and Thomas Cromwell began to basically eradicate Catholicism in England. Henry and Cromwell and the Crown's men set about physically destroying and pulling down monastic buildings and monasteries and abbeys and such like, They stole all of the treasures, took all the money that these buildings had, and from the buildings they destroyed, they actually reused the stone to build these castles and forts along the coast. So Henry put together what's called a device, and these are known as device forts. And a device is basically an order which instructs that these buildings must be built. And why did he want to build these incredible forts and castles along the coast? Because he believed he was going to be invaded by the Holy Roman Empire, the French, who were also upset with him for his divorce to Catherine, and his split from Catholicism, and the Spanish were also upset with Henry because Catherine of Aragon had Spanish relatives. So Henry started to get a bit twitchy, and he decided to build these forts and castles along the south coast particularly, and a few on the east coast as well, to deter any would-be invaders. And in all honesty, it worked. They didn't invade, not at that time anyway, so they set the precedent of do not try and infiltrate these shores, because you will be met with what was then some of the most technologically advanced forts and castles that the world had seen. So although the forts and castles didn't have any purpose at that point, as it happened, they did not invade, they did play a part in the Napoleonic War, and there was a French invasion later on, again, where they played a role. In the 1700s, Hurst Castle was used as a prison, and its most famous prisoner was Charles I. So after the Civil War, which was won by the parliamentarians, King Charles I was captured, and he was imprisoned here in Hurst Castle until he was later moved on to London for his subsequent trial and execution. Other prisoners included anybody basically that was caught to be spreading the word of Catholicism and trying to keep that religion alive. I think there was only actually one holy man that was imprisoned for those very reasons, and unfortunately he was imprisoned here for 30 years until he died at the age of 74. 400 years after being built, Hurst Castle and the other device forts along the south coast came back into action for World War I and World War II. They only played a smaller role in these wars as barracks for soldiers, as operational bases, and some of them were fitted with anti-aircraft cannons to deter any overhead bombers. So I've tried to research any paranormal activity and any reported ghosts at Hurst Castle, and there are some. So there are reports of Henry VIII haunting Hurst Castle himself. Whether he actually ever came to Hurst Castle, I don't know, but apparently his presence somehow is felt in the castle. And also the ghost of King Charles I is reported to loom at a certain level where he was imprisoned. And it's also reported that Father Paul, who was the holy man who was imprisoned for 30 years here for spreading the word of Catholicism, apparently his ghost is also felt and heard around the castle grounds. So I'm just getting closer here. I can see the castle just ahead of me, and to the left of the castle, as we look at it, you can also see a lighthouse. Be done. Wow. So just over there to the left is the ferry, which I'm going to hopefully take back. Save walking along the spit. Go for a little cruise. another of the 38-ton guns and those huge shells. So you get given this handy little guide for free when you get in, which has got like a map inside of what's here. And I'm trying to find where Charles I was kept, because that's rumoured to be where his ghost has been seen or heard. So let's have a look. So follow the steps to the first floor of the Tudor Keep, where it was probably here, that Charles I was kept prisoner in 1648. Okay, Tudor Keep. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm with you. Right, let's go and find it. So I believe this is the Tudor Keep. So we're on the first floor of the northwest bastion. It says here this is one of the oldest parts. This is one of the oldest parts of the castle. However, the ceiling and the floor have been replaced. So if there are any ghosts here, I think this would be the place, potentially. Purely going on the theory of time. Ooh. Oh wow. Gosh, you can really hear the wind beating around. Ooh. Let's see what's in here. Can't go any further out here, so back down we go. Ooh. Smells lovely in here. A really old smell. I know that sounds really weird, but it's just so nice. So that's the old fireplace, and around here is the old bread oven. So that's probably why I can smell like a smoky smell still. It's kind of saturated into the very stone of here. And this would have been the kitchen. Onwards. Up again. Shell. Yeah. Nice. Oh wow. That is a lot of yachts. Hopefully you can see lots and lots of yachts. My goodness. Marvellous. I'm so glad it's castle season again. The castles have all reopened. Carriage hoist. guess that's how they would have moved shells and ammunition. Oh, that wasn't me, that was the rail, just to confirm. It's a wobbler, look. There we go. Phew. Just wanted to, you know, clear my name there. So we're moving away from Henry VIII's original castle, and now we're moving into the more modern, well, not modern, 1800s part of the castle.
In February 2021, a large section of wall on the 19th century east wing sadly collapsed into the sea after centuries of exposure to the tides and elements. English Heritage are now managing conservation work to restore the castle and reinforce its sea defences.
A castle besieged, not by war but by the elements. Gosh, that's really bad, isn't it? Oh no, look. I'm not sure what I've just walked into, but I'm going. It's a me thing, I've got issues with mannequins. There's the shingle spit that I walked along to get here. Wow. So I've just left the castle. I'm just going to have a quick look up here and just see the views on the other side of the lighthouse. You can see the little carriage rails still all the way to the sea, I guess, carrying things in and out. And just here is the lighthouse. So this looks like the side that's been damaged, that's fallen into the sea. Obviously no access. Oh, I hope that they are sorting it out and giving it a new lease of life. Okay, so I've finished having a look around Hurst Castle, so I'm now going to catch the ferry from Hurst Castle back to Keyhaven, which is where my car is parked. Thank you so much for joining me here today in Hurst Castle. I really hope you've enjoyed having a look at one of Henry VIII's device forts. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please do consider doing so, and any likes and comments are really appreciated. They do help to get my channel seen. Also, welcome and thank you to all new subscribers. I've had quite a flurry of newbies in lately, so thank you all so much. You're also welcome here. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next Weird Walk.